to work early in the morning. Super Bowl team and now these haters salty.
That's right. We'll be that number one seed.
Number one seed.
Oh God. Yeah. Like
we will get to that, Manny. I know you have a full thing for it. Welcome to IE Sports Radio. I'm Niners Jess, along with Ty Alston, Maddie B, and your girl Bex. We are the East Coast Red and Gold. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
First show of the new year.
It is. Right. We made it. We made it to another one, right?
We made it.
Like hot damn is really what it boils down to.
That's lovely.
So how was everyone's New Year's?
Well, I mean, it was made a lot better by the fact that I knew that the San Francisco 49ers had finally gotten that one seed, which they so desperately needed based on some of the results you've seen on the field and some of the things they've been fighting through and guys who aren't playing and guys who need rest. And you don't have to worry about there's a lot of things like that got relieved this week. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that wild card game or the 2 seed. Like, yeah, it's so much easier. Two games, then take another break and then go to a Super Bowl, right? That is so much easier than win 3, maybe 1 on the road. Like, this team has won 2 the last 2 years in the playoffs. Like, so they've already proved they can do that. So that was great. That made it a lot better.
Becca, how was your New Year's?
Mine was tough to beat. I was in Marco Island this past weekend. So, yeah. Celebrating on the water, sunsets, Mai Tais. Yeah. I'll just leave it right there.
Can't beat that with a stick.
and a Niner victory. So,
right. Like,
I could beat that. I was in bed.
Let me do that kombucha baby. Girl face.
New Year's was fine.
Yeah.
Drove home from the game, saw the game, was at the game, cheered on everybody. You know, the faithful took over Washington. That was basically a home game. Levi's, East, Middle, Levi's, DC, whatever you want to call it. It's pure red up in that stadium. Drove home, laid in bed, said Happy New Year, and went to sleep. There you go. But it was a good day.
How was the traffic? How was the traffic getting in and out of there?
There was no traffic.
It actually wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it was like leaving the stadium, the 495. I hit the 495 loop, so it was a little crowded at first, but zoomed out of there. It was really no traffic. Thank goodness.
That's amazing. That's great news.
Yeah,
great news.
Yeah, I was at the game also. Drove home right after and found myself in bed as well.
There you go. See, East Coast Red and Gold. We know how to do it, baby.
Yeah, we know how to party on New Year's.
Party hard.
Listen, the clock struck midnight and we hightailed it straight out and went straight to bed. So by 12:15, in bed, out.
I'm pretty sure I was asleep by like 9:15, 9:30. So yeah.
Yeah, everyone said their Happy New Year's around 9:30, and then that was it.
That was great. That was awesome.
So, to chat about the weekend a little bit, I have some cool stories for you guys.
Yeah, it seemed like you ran into a few of your friends down there. Just managed to bump into a couple of folks, sometimes more than once. So based on the different outfit.
Yeah. Before she goes, just know that Jess's friends flew into town. And they were like, hey, we're not too far away. You should come down and visit us. So being the cool friend that she is, she was like, okay, I'll make the drive just for you guys. Now go ahead, Jess.
And that's exactly what I did.
Yep, exactly what you did.
I ran into George Kittle. They were leaving through the walkthrough.
Just George, you know.
I asked him, just George Kittle.
She just calls him George, by the way.
Yeah.
He says George Kittle, full name for you guys, but one-on-one.
Does he say, hey, Jess, now when he sees you? Or does he
Well,
just say hey with a very familiar face?
does say like, "Hey there, how are you?" Like kind of like
Mhm.
on a familiar level.
Okay.
And then he,
like,
I'm
"Oh,
waiting for him to call you by Jess. When that happens,
then he looks
like,
for her
we have
mom.
Yeah.
we have reached it. Yep.
yeah." So he came over, took pictures with people, and then later on, I was on the elevator with a friend of mine, and I was going up to my room, and sure enough, we stopped on a floor, and the doors open, and there's George Kittle again.
Mhm.
And he came on the elevator and was going to meetings. Yeah, and I almost passed out at that point. Took another picture, hence the different
Elevator.
outfits. And then probably the greatest story is Kyle Shanahan. He was leaving for the walkthrough as well. I said, "Hey, coach, can I get a picture?" He came over and he said, "Yeah, I'll take a picture with you because you wore that shirt down in Jacksonville." And I said, "You remembered me?" And he said, "Absolutely." So
Perfect.
that was like, wow, Coach Shanahan remembers me. My next story is Dre Greenlaw. He forgot his room key card. And to get to the room, you have like from the elevator, you got to put the key card and then press the
scan.
button. And my mom and I were sitting by the elevator. So he happened to pop his head out and was like, "Hey, can you help me? I don't have my card." So I went in there and I put my card in front of it, and I went to like go exit the elevator, but the door closed. I'm like, "Okay, so I'll ride with you." And he started laughing. And then I was like, You ready to go?" He's like, "Yeah, I got a stinger on Thursday, but I'm good to go. I really want to play." I'm like, "We need you out there." He was super cool. It was just me and him in the elevator. And then I was like, "Thanks for the pic." He's like, "Thanks for your help." Mr. Kittle was cool. Took a picture
There
with
you
my
go.
mom. Then on game day, my mom and I were having breakfast, and he was walking by. He came in to say hello to me and my mom.
That's nice.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool. Brian Schneider, our special teams coach, was in the elevator with me. I was on the elevator a lot this trip.
Yeah, well, that's the theme I'm sensing.
Did you have like a grill in there and like were you like those sausage vendors at Levi's? You just show up with a tray and you're like, "Hey, what's going on?"
I
You
should,
got your key card, no
that's an
problem,
idea for
right?
next
Oh, you want a
time.
sausage? Like, yeah.
He was more like Buddy the Elf, when he hits all the buttons.
Yes, it's like a Christmas tree. But he was in there, and I'm like, you ready for the game? And he's like, "Well, I know I'm ready." I'm like, "I'm sure the guys are ready too." He goes, "Yeah, they're ready." And that was pretty much it. Like, it was just, he was super cool. And then Kyle Shanahan, security guard. He remembers our group from Jacksonville. My cousin's husband was with us, and he has a big mouth. So love you, Carlo. So he was, he remembered us, and I asked for a picture, and he goes, "But I'm not a player." I'm like, "I know." I'm like, "But you remember us from Jacksonville. I was with the loudmouth guy." And he goes, "Yeah, that's right. I remember you guys." So he took a picture. And then from that point on, every time I saw him, he was just like, he was waving at me and stuff like that. Like, it was super cool. So that is story time with Niners Jess. I hope you enjoyed my stories. Really cool. Being a diehard, just really cool stories.
It's really too bad that Washington sucks so much, because like if they could come here on a regular basis, it would be great. Like, it seemed like it was a pretty affordable trip. Like, the tickets didn't seem like they were super expensive. If you wanted to stay at the same hotel that the players were staying at, it wasn't that expensive. Like, it didn't seem like it was too tough, man. Like, that seemed like a pretty good value trip compared to the other ones that are jacked up to the moon because they know 49ers fans are going to follow them no matter what.
We talking lower bowl in the 140s, people.
Kyle Shanahan's face on my shirt, Steve-O.
Yeah, all over.
All over.
Yeah.
Hey, Carcast.
And that's why Kyle remembers her.
That's right. That's right.
Of course, they've met like 10 times at the hotel
And
already.
you know what?
But-
And how can I forget?
He'll claim the shirt.
Yeah. And how can I forget that I also took my picture with Jake Moody and I
Mhm.
sent it
Legend.
to Bryant and Tony Culp. So this
Of
is who
course.
he's
Oh,
referencing.
Fantastic.
Didn't you meet
Mhm.
someone else?
The only thing that would have been missing is if you had FaceTimed Bryant or Tony and been like, "Hey, I got someone here who wants to say hi."
Right.
Like, I think they both would have lost it. Like, I think that would have been it. That would have been.
Yeah,
would
he
be
was.
it.
They were kind of like quickly walking through because there were.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, you weren't trapped on the elevator with Jake Moody?
No,
what I
no, this
thought. I
wasn't
thought
an
you were trapped on
elevator
the
experience. No, not this one.
That was
Oh,
before she
okay.
hit all the buttons.
Yeah.
So
Right. It's pretty like a
yeah, no, there
Christmas
were
tree.
a lot of
Yeah.
Niner fans in the lobby, and it was kind of like really irritating because a lot of them didn't know who the players were,
Who?
oh wow.
you
Come
know,
on.
and everyone was
Come on,
like
people.
calling Isaiah Oliver Ronnie Bell,
Oh,
and
God. Oh,
I'm
boy.
like, no, that's Isaiah Oliver, and even Isaiah Oliver was like, nope, like
Mhm.
out loud, and it was kind of funny. You know, and then you had the eBayers that were there. They kept
Oh,
like
geez.
chasing them outside for like, and they were like, oh, I don't even know who that is. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Just looking to hawk stuff online.
Yeah. So
See,
sitting
and
by
that's
the
one of the
elevator.
reasons, like, when I go to these things and I see these people, like, if someone like Jess isn't with me, I'm completely face blind. Like, I'm not going to figure out who it is. Like, I'm not. It's, you know, it's got to be something super obvious. Like, oh, look, there's Tabor Pepper, right? Like, you know.
Yeah.
I
Or,
saw
oh, hey,
Tabor
wow,
Pepper
it's
too. Took a
Debo.
picture with him.
You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be somebody like that for me to be like, oh, you know, like, because
Yeah.
a lot of times you don't see these guys, you know, without their helmet on, and I don't
Yeah,
tend
exactly.
to
In
just
street
sit there and
clothes,
look at their
just normal.
NFL.com thing. Yep. So, like, for any of them, I'm just like, I don't know. Is that Charlie Werner or is that, you know, Jake Brendel? I don't friggin' know. You know what I mean?
Charlie
Like,
Werner.
I'd like to know. I'd like to know every one of them by face so I could be like, yo, how you doing? But I can't. That's why we have Jeff, right? Jeff.
Yep.
I unfortunately did not get to tell Jake Moody about the first jersey owner. It was very quick. They wanted to get out of the lobby before they were bombarded by like all these other fans, if you will.
Turd balls.
Fakers.
I say turd balls. You say fans, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bacon turd balls.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, either way.
Right. So on that note, let's talk about the game.
The game.
I thought it was a good game. The O-line, was it me or did you guys notice that twice CMC ran into Spencer Burford and Colt McKivitz?
They should have been credited with tackles. Actually, it's funny you mentioned it because I was just watching the L22.
He ran into them and then he went right to the ground, and I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, like that's stuff that never happens. Usually, he runs at the back of them and then follows to the left or right real quick with a quick pivot. And there was no. I mean, if you look at it on the day, Elijah Mitchell finished with better stats than him on the day. Like, and he got plenty of touches even before his calf injury. So, you know, like, just kind of how it was. You know what I mean? Just kind of how it was. Sometimes that happens in the National Football League, and CMC's been grinding every week this year. So it was kind of, he really didn't hit the board with a 100-yarder or 100, you know, like it just wasn't. It was a good workmanlike day for him, which is exactly what you want. And then he had a minor injury, and it was far enough out that they're like, you know what, we didn't even have to put him in. So perfect storm. And Elijah Mitchell gets a big confidence boost going into the playoffs too, right? That really helps because this whole year has been 95% Christian McCaffrey and 5% rotating people at running back. And that's not going to be good long-term for Christian McCaffrey. So the longer Christian McCaffrey's here, the longer this offense stays like at a premier level because they're going to be able to run everything around him and through him, which is what they've been doing. So, and gosh, I think it worked this year. So let's keep him fresh and get Elijah Mitchell some touches. And hopefully Elijah Mitchell stays healthy. A lot of times he plays in the game and they show up on the injury report on Thursday. So he makes it through this week, no injury report for Elijah.
Well, I know he is on there this week with an illness. He's sick, so he did not practice today.
That dude needs to go see Steve, the stage man, and he needs to go get it.
Yes.
And he needs like
Pizza
there
guy.
just needs to be like just go get some and roll around in it at this point. Like I don't know, because every time that dude like seems like he turns a corner, like he's on the injury report. Like I just want to see a week where Elijah Mitchell is not on the injury report.
Yeah, we actually saw Steve as well. He's such a nice guy. Fun fact, he's actually a Redskins fan.
Okay then.
Hey,
And the Niners pizza
some
guy.
people grew up in that Hog era and really, really felt the connection.
That's true.
And they got bought by yet another turd ball, allegedly, and that's just how that goes. Like 20 years later, now they're starting to come back again.
Ty, your thoughts on the game?
Good game. I thought it was a typical game that we've seen before. Like the offense comes out, moves the ball, they kind of sputter, right? They didn't really hit on all cylinders until kind of like later in the game. I felt we should have scored a lot more points, but the offense kind of died and we had to settle for field goals. Like the opening drive was key indication of that. But the defense came to play. Yes, they bent a little bit, but did not break and made plays in the second half, just like the offense made plays in the second half. I thought the halftime adjustments and what they did and came out firing and put this thing to bed is kind of what this team has done all year. So it was good to see. And it was a return to basics, I felt, offensively and defensively, really. Just a return to basics. We just ran the ball, played bully ball. Defensively, played a lot more zone than man, kind of kept everything in front of them and let the ball hawks and the pass rushers do what they do. So it was great to see. Even special teams like Brian Schneider, who your homeboy now. I talked about this all. Yeah, I talked about this all year. How he likes to try to play that corner kick thing and pin teams inside the 20 a lot. But this game, he instructed Jake, just kick it out the end zone. We're not trying to do anything fancy here. Just kick it out the end zone. Very basic. So that was good to see. And this could be our formula moving forward, a return to just good old basic 49er football.
I will say Steve Wilkes has definitely been making great halftime adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
The past few games, well, throughout the year, really.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see the that come into fruition in the second half. Although, not that the defense is playing bad in the first half, but you can definitely you can see the difference.
Mm-hmm. The difference. Oh wait, is that me or is that her?
Are
you guys moving?
Becca, go ahead. Your thoughts?
Well, I didn't get to see the game. I only got to watch the hot takes, the little clips. So I didn't get to see a lot of like the punts and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I will say it looked to me like the defense wasn't playing their best tackling game again in the first half, but they seemed to clean it up in the second half for sure. They let a couple really big ones get loose and get through there. Who was it? Robinson got away with a couple of really big runs or catch and runs. But it seemed like, and I also don't know about the penalties either. I didn't really look at much of the stats, but I was happy to see that we were able to do what we've been able to do all year, which is make halftime adjustments, keep scoring, keep tacking on the points and staying ahead of the opponent. It did look to me like Washington moved the ball really, really well. And if not for a couple picks there, the score could have been a little closer. But I was happy to see the defenses, stepping up and doing their part there to keep this game out of reach for Washington. So, yeah, hopefully everyone enjoys a little bit of downtime and the rest and comes into the playoffs, ready to own it.
I think the defensive line, I didn't think that they generated a lot of pressure because there were a lot of times where Howell had plenty of time in the pocket to throw.
They
What do
did.
you guys think?
They did. And they went to kind of an old school philosophy that we've seen in years past. Double and triple team Nick Bosa. Right? We've seen that's what they did.
Mhm.
They even flat out held him a lot, which we see all the time as well. Identify who could potentially be the other threat on the line, chip him, and see if someone else could beat you. And it worked for him. We didn't get much pressure on him. I was hoping Chase Young would tear it up this game, but that didn't happen. But that's what they did. And, we didn't blitz a lot, but that's really what happened. So, yeah, I think the line is missing that pressure that Armstead generates up the middle, and just his height, just, his length, just interrupting the QB's, vision is kind of a detriment. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes back and what adjustments they make along the line, and just them being fresh. I think them being fresh will help generate pass rush as well. But yeah, it wasn't the rush I was hoping to see, being that Sam Howell, would be a sitting duck back there.
Go ahead, Manny.
Is he frozen? No, he's moving. He's muted.
Moving.
Unmute
You're
yourself.
muted.
There we go.
There you go.
Welcome to the show. I know it's your first.
Talk to us, Lord Palpatine.
Uh-oh, no?
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I blame the
He couldn't
Jedi.
hear us either. Uh-oh.
That's what it was.
I think with rest, I think the whole defensive unit will be fresh. I think, Brock and his arm, having a little bit of rest, like when we had the bye week and he didn't throw, like he felt like refreshed after that. I think it'll definitely help. This secondary, I thought was great with Mooney Ward and Demo Lenore, both with picks. When they both got their picks, the stadium erupted. Like it was just crazy.
Well, just remember in the first quarter when Demo almost picked one off, how everybody was like, "Oh!"
Yeah,
it was this big roar of exhilaration, then down when it happened, and it was like, "Woo!" If he would have got that, the place would have definitely erupted, and it did in the second half.
I think for sure, as far as the fans go, I think in Washington, this was probably like the most 49ers fans besides like Pittsburgh had a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously besides
Arizona had a lot.
Arizona had a lot as well.
Yeah.
Like I think this year alone, like the stadiums up there, like Arizona, Pittsburgh, and DC for me as far as like fans.
If you're going East Coast, I'm guessing just based on what I saw on from everybody's social media, from everything else that I saw this weekend, I feel like Washington was probably the biggest one on the East Coast, just because it was late in the year. Like most of the Washington fan base is kind of like, yeah, I'm good. So yeah, and LA is kind of like that extra home game every year anyway, right?
Yeah. We don't really
Yeah.
count that
So,
because
I don't even
it
count that
really
anymore.
is
And
Levi South.
And that's the Rams' fault, guys. That's the Rams' fault. The Rams basically said bye for 20 years to their people, so they had no other team. And then the Raiders left. And then the Chargers were still down in San Diego. So most of them all flocked to the 49ers during that time frame. You talk to most people from Los Angeles from right around that era, and you see 49ers fans in the parking lot, they're probably from about 2 blocks over from the stadium, and their favorite player is probably Steve Young. It's just... That's that generation. It's how they are. So, yeah, I mean, that's the Rams' fault. And, yeah, they've won a Super Bowl. But, like, they're going to have to do a little bit more to get some of those fans back. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
What impressed me about Washington is, like, normally in the road game, we'll take over, like, a section, and then we'll kind of be spread around a lot. It'll still be a lot of us. but it'll usually be like one section, like a corner that's taken over. It was literally half of the lower bowl was completely taken over by 49ers.
And those aren't red
fans.
seats, right?
No.
No.
I mean, it was seriously the lower bowl. We're talking the 100 section right behind the bench from end zone to end zone was complete 49er fans.
Yep.
And it was like, wow. Like I was trying to get the Spartan chant going. I was trying to do everything I could because we could have totally did it. Yeah. It was full of fans.
Yeah, actually, you know what? They had it going where I was.
Yeah.
They had the chant going. Yeah.
See, I need to be with you. Darn it. We got to start coordinating.
See, I tell you where I sit, and you constantly sit on the other side.
That section wasn't available. I asked too late.
And by the way, I sat in the sun this time, but the sun was very much welcomed.
Because it was
You needed the sun this time.
It was a little
You
cold
were
and windy.
seeking out the sun. This was not like Atlanta, for example. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as that sun went behind the stadium, though, whoo, did it get chilly.
Mm-hmm.
Maddie, what are your thoughts on the defense?
I don't know what you heard from me earlier. I don't know what cut out, what didn't.
Didn't
heard
hear
nothing.
Three things.
Nothing.
Okay, awesome. That's cool because I couldn't hear anything you guys were saying, so it was great.
Okay.
I had a
Great.
huge rant there. Two things. One, why is Cleveland Farrell the only one with a sack? Like, what in the hell is going on there? Like, we have gotten Randy Gregory. We have gotten Chase Young. Well, that'll help. Well, Nick Bosa is finally getting to mid-season form now because he missed training camp in this, and now, like, he started late. Okay, great. One sack against Washington. One sack. Sam Howell has been beaten to death in multiple games this year by teams that have absolutely not even close to the reputation of being tough pass rushing teams like the 49ers. Where is this vaunted 49ers defense that I keep hearing so much about? Where is it? Where are you? Are you only there when Eric Armstead plays? I need to know. I need to know right now. Because if I have to watch more tape of Javon Kinlaw almost falling down, barely efforting trying to track down Lamar Jackson from Christmas, and the stuff that he did, like he's done the things that he needs to do to be a rotational lineman in this league, but he is in the rotation way too long when Eric Armstead is not on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And it was exposed completely by the Baltimore Ravens. And if you go back and watch the film of that game, that long run that Lamar Jackson had, watch Javon Kinlaw on that play. Just watch him. Watch no one else. Only watch him. The move that he makes when Jackson like gets down to the 25 is like, am I gonna crap my pants here, or am I just gonna take a knee? And it was like he decided to take the knee. Like, I don't know what was happening. Like, there was no effort, there was no movement. It was just like, yeah, whatever. There, yeah, all right. Like, is Eric Armstead that guy? Like, is he the dude? And yeah, Washington only scored 10 points because they're absolutely inept. Like, they started a guy they wanted to bench, guys. They started a guy they wanted to bench. He didn't even get reps in the early part of the week until Jacoby Brissett hurt himself in practice. They should have blown this team out by like 50 points. 27? 2 turnovers? Yes, 2 turnovers are great. But turnovers sometimes run dry. Sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. Sometimes you can't get to it before it hits the ground. 1 sack? Damn, that worries me. Against a team like Washington, I do not like that at all.
Okay.
And rant. Like, you got to have a tough defense, man. You got to be
That's
able to
all.
sack
So
the quarterback. So
Still held them to
where
10,
is it?
though.
Let's go.
Still
Let's
held
find
them to
it.
10. Remember, sacks aren't the end all
Absolutely.
be all. We had games where
Absolutely.
there was no sacks and we won. So it's not the tell of everything. But I see what you're saying with an O-line that's been Swiss cheese, that have been giving them up. It's like, what happened to us?
Cleveland Farrell, dude.
Like I said earlier, they identified triple team Bosa. Whoever the next guy is, we're going to try to double team him and try to let one of these other rotational guys beat us, right? And that's what they did, and it worked. right? Now, when these guys get healthy and have some rest and can generate some more, and hopefully Armstead comes back and we get our full complement of players out there, maybe it'll be a difference. But for right now, it is what it is. Thank God, this next game means nothing.
Yes. I've never been more excited to see Sam Darnold versus Carson Wentz in my life.
Ginger Bowl. Bring
It's a
it.
barn burner.
Go. Ginger v. Ginger.
That's right. I'm ready for the Ginger Bowl.
It's the spicy one coming up, y'all.
That's right.
Oh, man. They
Bring
should
it.
get like
now.
gingerbread, but with like red hair, right? Like, they
Mhm.
just put it up. Yeah. They should put one in a Rams jersey and one other thing. That should be 100%. Ed Sheeran could sing the national anthem. It would be great.
I could see where the defense, it would be a little concerning because the past few years we've had the sacks and we've had the pressure up front, and now it doesn't seem that we're getting that.
We're
We're getting a lot better defensive
fatigue
back
is
play
playing
right now.
Fatigue is playing a role in that as well.
Yes.
Because if you look at how we were before the bye, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
And then after the bye, when they came back and they were all fresh and re-energized, they were hunting.
Mhm.
Hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now they've kind of worn down. We've got injuries. We see the same thing. So having this 1 seed and having a bye to re-energize them, I think they'll return to form.
So before we get to the game balls on this game, a few things happen. Nothing major. Joseph says, I think Hargrave is still dealing with that hammy.
Yeah, he's not 100%.
Yeah, he is.
No.
They're rotating him in and out like he's Kevin Givens. Like
I'm
he's just
actually
another
surprised that he's
rotational
played the
piece.
last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No offense to Kevin Givens. I like Big Kev, but he's a
Mhm.
rotational player, right? He's a backup rotation guy. That's what they're doing with Hargrave.
All right. Franchise record, most passing yards in a single season, Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, as a system quarterback, it's a great system, right? So,
Great
eye
system.
roll.
A great
Yeah.
game
Such a
manager.
He's got a whole bunch of great
Yeah.
talent.
Such a great system.
around him.
Right. For such a great system, shouldn't Nick Mullins have done this, right? Like, shouldn't Jimmy Garoppolo have done this at some point?
Mullins was on
Like,
pace.
Yeah, well, he was also on pace to throw almost as many interceptions as he did for
Interceptions.
yards, which is
Hey,
quite
it was-
a ratio. That
it's
is
a
actually-
record either way.
It is. There is. And if you actually added in the interception return yards from his completions, like, he might be the NFL's all-time leading thrower, quite frankly. Him and Steve DeBerg are probably in like some sort of like race for that. But I'm pretty sure Steve DeBerg's like the leader in the clubhouse for like yardage returned on interceptions. That dude threw a pick in every game. Like, even if it was a blowout, like, let's just throw 3 picks for fun. But like, for Purdy to do what he did, and then to complete, remember that he should have completed the same pass to Ayuk in the playoffs last year, and Ayuk wasn't it in the playoffs last year that he dropped it.
I had the same thought. It's like the exact
the
same
same-
type of magic. Yep.
Same
Yep.
deal.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think
it was good that
pretty
he kind of
special.
like
But-
completed that the week after the crap show against the Ravens, right? It was really
yeah.
karmic.
but yeah, great season for Brock.
Yeah, especially coming back after injury.
Yeah, great season
Brock
for
did
him.
that too.
And it's a testament to who he is as a young developing player. And as I've been saying all season long, the guy's just ascending. He's just doing this, and he's getting better and better as we see him play. And hats off to him.
Now on 20-plus yard throws, 47 attempts, 30 completions, 11 touchdowns. Look at him slinging it around. I didn't think he had the arm for it.
Yeah.
He's a gunslinger.
yeah.
That gunslinger mentality. Gotta love it.
My guy, George Kittle, 1,000 receiving yards, 3rd time in his career. He needed 9 going into the game. His first catch was 3, needed 6 after that, and wound up going over. I think he now has 1,020. So congratulations to him. That was one of the things I said to him too. I was like, go get 1,000. And he goes, woo.
Of course he did.
He did.
Yeah.
George Kittle's back to, this is from Akash. George Kittle's back to being the undisputed best tight end in the NFL with the season he's having. Number 1 in receiving yards, yards per reception, yards per route run, passer rating when targeted.
He was always the best tight end in football. Let's get that straight. People were just basing this on stats alone. He was always the best. Okay.
I agree.
It's just that this year,
Yeah.
his stats reflect it because he's getting the ball. He's actually targeted, right? He's got a quarterback who's saying, you know what, this 85 is pretty good. I'm going to throw him the ball. Plain and simple.
This kid's all right.
It's plain and simple.
He's got pretty good
So,
hands.
yeah. I still say he's got the best hands on the team, but plain and simple, he's that guy, no matter how you look at it. So I'm very happy for him hitting 1,000 once again and receiving all the accolades that he so well deserves.
From David Lombardi, the Niners are the first team in NFL history to have a running back, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end all hit over 1,000 all-purpose yards in a single season. Matty, your thoughts?
That is so crazy, guys. I can't tell you how crazy that is. There is only one football. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't play with 2 footballs. Like, usually this stuff gets like concentrated somewhere. And even with the amount of touches that Christian McCaffrey gets, and he gets a lot of the touches, right? You just look at it and you look at the yardages. For the fact that they had enough on their plate to support a tight end to get 1,000 yards, 2 wide receivers, one of whom is in a contract year, mind you, over 1,000 yards, one hit 1,300, and over 2,000 total yards for your running back, right? That is bleeping insane. That is better than Greatest Show on Turf. That is better than 2007 Patriots. That is why. That is better than some of those crazy Colts teams that used to throw to Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne and had Dallas Clark and Edgar and James. Like, this is on that level. This is wild. This is crazy, 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 which is why I'm so like staunchly ready for this defense to be who they can be, because this has the potential to be the overall top to bottom greatest 49ers offense ever, right? It has that talent. You go back and look at all our Super Bowl teams. If you match them up one-on-one video game style, like top to bottom, I don't think it's ever been this deep. It never, not like this. It's amazing to me. This is a testament to a lot of things, but the Shanahan system clearly works when you have the right guy running it. Is really the biggest testament to me on this.
Becca, your thoughts?
Yeah, there's not a lot to say that Matt hasn't already said here. You've got just such deep talent all over the field. I think the offense is just running and gunning, and obviously the numbers are there to prove it. And I do think you're absolutely right. It's one of the best offenses we've ever had as a team, or even in the NFL. I just think that the defense needs to turn the dial back up a little bit and get themselves together. And they're hot at the right time. I'm so excited that, we've got these kind of playmakers. Everybody's out there. Everybody's buying into the system. Everyone's doing their job and more, the plus. And just looking at those pictures when they all came in from winning the championship, the hugs, the love, you saw it in the room, the trust, the camaraderie that exists in that locker room is unparalleled. I'm excited. I think this is just who they are, and we're ready to take it all the way. Let's get it.
I mean, look at the way they're all cuddling around Mike Silver's phone, right? And then they went into the locker room and they're watching on the oldest the oldest tubed TV of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Did a clubhouse manager have to like get an antenna and put it on the roof on that TV for
Something
them
like
to get
that,
that
right?
game in? Like, holy mother of God. Like, that had been there since like the late 90s at least. So for them to all sit there and just be jacked and to be excited that, hey, wow, nobody was expecting Arizona to pull one off against Philly.
Right.
So you know that they didn't happen. So that was just a great moment. I mean, good call. I thought about it only because Arizona, for some reason, is really good in the state of Pennsylvania. They're 2-0 in the state of Pennsylvania this year, undefeated.
We
Wow.
appreciate them for that.
Shout out Cardinals. Thanks for giving the 49ers a place to finish off their 2020 season, and thank you for eliminating the Eagles. That, to me, is the greatest thing of all time. Watching the Eagles fall apart in all this and be exposed for the absolute frauds that they are, PH, is absolutely wonderful. It is just glorious. Thank you, Cardinals.
Ty, your thoughts on the offense?
It's like we've been saying all year. It's pick your poison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Just pick your poison. Who do you want to try to stop? The 2,000-yard guy, or this 1,000-yard guy, or this 1,000-yard guy, or this 1,000-yard guy? Well, I don't know. Let's try to pick one. Oh, they got the system quarterback. Oh, he only threw for 4,200 yards. So,
Right.
system on that.
What a game manager.
Yeah. He's a hell
Yeah.
of a manager. So it's just kudos to those guys, staying healthy for most of the season, executing on an extremely high level, balling out, and just going out there and getting it done. That's why we love this team, right?
Yeah.
Because we got the guys. We got the guys. You can't stop them. You can't stop all of them. And by the way, I'm not as low on the defense as other people are. I'm loving the defense. Loving the defense. You guys get out there and keep going after it.
There are a lot of mouths to feed on this team on the offensive side of the ball. And the fact that we have, the 1,000-yard guys and, Brock with his passing yards is pretty cool. Very impressive.
One thing to also note is that they all are very unselfish and root for one another. How many times did we see guy A score or make a big play and guys B and C are celebrating as if they made the play?
Mhm.
Losing their mind,
Or-
tracking down the football, right?
Right. Guy A is running downfield, and here comes guys B and C blocking their tails off like their life depended on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't get that anywhere else. We've seen it.
What do you see on other teams with a lot of these diva receivers, right? Yelling at their coaches, yelling at their quarterback. You see any one of those guys yell at Brock Purdy? No, never. They could have, totally could have. People probably would have justified it. No, you never see that on this team. You see Deebo Samuel, however, who's probably the biggest playmaker, like in terms of like in 1 second he can take the ball and take it 90 yards and you've missed it. He can go ahead and take a vest and wear it with his quarterback name and number on the back with MVP all over it, right? While also supporting his fullback's wife's business, like, and giving it visibility that is so amazing. So like that is just, to me, that is so ingrained. That just tells you everything you need to know about this football team. That's it. That's all you need to know. They have all the right people in there that they want, and they've only added the people that they want to it. You don't hear a lot about trouble in the 49ers locker room.
No.
Zero. And that's what I mean about the camaraderie, right? You hear people, McCaffrey, I love this team. I love what we have, the chemistry, all of those guys say absolutely nothing but amazing, glowing, wonderful things about their teammates, about each other, the way each other plays. When something goes wrong, they all stand up and own it together. I could have done more here. We should have been able to do that. and they all just step up, and it's not finger pointing. No one's doing any of those things at all. They have bought in, and they are a unit, a collective unit, and it's kind of cool. You see the numbers. It's pretty special.
Mm-hmm. Game balls. Go ahead, Ty.
Oh yeah, you got to give one to Elijah Mitchell. Just coming in there and just running hard, picking up yardage, looking good. Hats off to him. Yeah, he balled out. And you got to give one to Mooney and Demo, just flying around, making plays, being ball hawks. It was great. It was great.
Yeah, Becca.
Well, that was exactly my list. Only I have Debo on there because of the puffer vest. Debo's gonna walk in, talking the talk again. Like, do not dismiss my boy because you think he's too small. He doesn't have the measurables, or he was Mr. Irrelevant. He's playing like an MVP this year, and he deserves it. So I thought Debo definitely deserved a game ball, but I agree with Mitchell and Demo and Mooney for playing. They made some key turnovers there that stopped Washington. They were down, close to scoring and really pulling the game closer. So, that was a clutch turnover. So those guys got my game balls.
Maddie?
Elijah Mitchell would have gotten one of mine, but I don't want to be the third one to give him one. So I'm going to give my offensive one to Brock Purdy, just for the way that he bounced back after that stinker on Monday night against the Ravens. Literally nothing went his way. Like, the balls just every time that popped up in the air. So for him to come back out like that, like I said, to finish off that throw to Ayuk the way that we wanted him to in the playoffs last year, it was perfect. It's almost like he can show. He once again showed that he can learn. He can find he can step away from the setback and like move forward like further, right? Like, he's going to continue to grow from everything. So I thought that was a really good sign. Special teams wise, Jake Moody, he was absolutely clutch. I thought that was a huge confidence boost for him headed into the playoffs. That's another point of trepidation, right? We're getting
he hasn't missed since Minnesota.
Right, still, but you get into the playoffs, it's a whole different beast. So you want to make sure that he's not getting any sort of case of the yips or any sort of whatever, right? So for him to be consistent and be crushing it since that Cleveland, Minnesota, whatever the hell that was, cool. Sign me up, right? Like, awesome. So it was good for him to do that, and good stuff there. Cleveland Farrell on the defense, because he had a sack. And no one else wanted to, apparently, or could. I don't know what's going on there. But Cleveland Farrell has actually played really, really good football this year, and has been one of their most dependable linemen all year long. He has really. Chris Kachurik has done a real good job with him, and he's done a real good job fitting into the system. So those would be my three.
Me, I have a little bit more than you guys.
Show off.
I have
Kyle Shanahan's security guard is number one.
I know.
He's the real MVP. I have MVP. Brock Purdy, BA, Debo, Elijah Mitchell, Kittle, Mooney Ward, and Demo Lenore.
All deserved.
Good list.
Fair enough.
And before we get to the Rams game, if you haven't already, please make sure you like and subscribe to us, the East Coast Red and Gold, on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And of course, you want to go online to a little place that we like to call. Whoops, is that the one? Nope, just kidding. Haha. Come on in here. Move here. We need that one. Did I tell you guys about the time I went to the iPhone store and the guy factory reset my stuff and now everything's missing? It's the best. So you can go to IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports news and all the chatter you could want. Pretty good community there. IESportsRadio.com/East Coast Red and Gold for everything you would want, including the Hall of Fame as well. And of course, it's brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, which is an all brisket jerky with gluten-free options, no MSG, no sodium nitrate, and is low in sugar and high in protein. some of the best jerky you can get your paws on, planetjerky.net. Brisket beef jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Becca, did yours come in?
Also, if you're
I sent it as gifts. I
Okay.
didn't actually get it. I just drop shipped it.
Got it. What were you going to say, Maddie?
by the way, if anyone's looking for tickets for the divisional round, I know a guy. And those ticket prices are insane right
They
now
are.
for the divisional round. Holy, and mine's way less. So I saw someone in a section opposite me today that wanted $2,400 for the pair.
Woo!
Wow.
I am
a lot.
not selling them for $2,400 for the pair.
Too rich for my blood.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, what are you going to do for the NFC title game? Like, I mean, I don't want to have to put them on TickPick or Ticketmaster, but it's like,
Mhm.
right? Like, you know, I would like to pay for next year's tickets with these playoffs. So, you know, kinda like,
Mhm.
Post it
that
post
point.
it on the socials, Matt, and we'll share it.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's probably
I'll
what's going to
share it
happen.
too.
I want to ensure they end up in the hands of the correct fan, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
Right.
we all know that the Rams are going to be the game, right? Can we all be in agreement on that? That Matthew Stafford and the Rams are going to go to Detroit and beat them as the 3 seed because that's what the Lions are going to do. Like, to me, there's no, in the history of the National Football League, there are certain teams that just have it not work out for them. And the Lions are one of those teams. And even though they've done all the right things, the worst possible matchup for them is their old quarterback coming to town.
Coming
I
back.
just think it would be the absolute most Detroit thing ever for them to lose to Matthew Stafford and have people be like, well, that's why you can't keep Jared Goff. And then the whole thing starts again, right? And I think they'll be the lowest seed because whoever's the 7th seed is probably not going to beat Dallas. Now, if they have to play Philly, whole other scenario. But I think that's going to be Rams 49ers again in 3 weeks.
It definitely is possible. But like Maddie said, if you need divisional round tickets,
We got a guy.
we
You got a
have
guy.
You got a guy.
Likes to hang out in dark
Look for
places,
Niners
but he's a
North
good
on
guy.
all the socials. Yes.
We got a guy who's got a guy.
Mhm.
Got a guy who's got a guy who's got a guy. So
All right. So Bryant wants to know Rams are currently the 6th seed.
Yes, they are.
yes. Which means right now, if everything stood the way it was today, like everything went the way it's supposed to go this weekend, they would face the Lions in round 1. And
Hmm.
look, you can say whatever you want about the NFL having a script. Like sometimes the universe writes a script for you, right? And that to me is the most script written thing that you could possibly have. No, I think no, did the Rams beat the Packers or the Packers beat the Rams? They played.
I'm
feel
not
like
sure.
the Rams won. Feel like the Rams beat them. So I think they have the head-to-head. Now I got to look. I may be wrong, but I know they played earlier this year.
All right. So
Mhm.
we know that
No, Packers
Brock
beat them.
Purdy-
Never mind, I was wrong.
The
Oh, that's
Rams
right.
lost
Matthew
20 to
Stafford didn't
3.
play in that game. Yep, Matthew Stafford didn't play in that game. They used the backup. I can't remember who the dude was, but he clearly was not Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Clearly not Matthew Stafford played.
Clearly not Matthew Stafford. Yes.
All right. So we know Kyle Shanahan said today that Brock Purdy is not playing on Sunday. It will be Sam Darnold. CMC is
Right.
also not playing.
Good.
Who
I don't
else?
expect Trent Williams in there either.
Well, see now that I saw that all depends on
Our depth.
Yes.
I think he's planning on playing some of these guys and doing some rotating because he was explaining the whole you can only pull 2 guys up off the practice squad and you can only rotate so many with the way the injuries are falling right now. So I think we will see some starters have to play in the game over what he may or may not want to do with somebody like Trent. But I think I think we'll
What's up,
see.
buddy?
Yeah. So right now, if it all depends upon if Jalen Moore finally clears concussion protocol and can he be ready for game time?
He was
not-
limited today.
Yeah, he was limited, so that's a good sign. So
Mhm.
we'll see how this goes. And I know they were working out Matt Pryor at left tackle to see if he can possibly go. So it all depends on how things work out. You know, we want Trent out there, but we don't want him possibly getting injured. So I could see him playing a little, kind of like a preseason type thing. All right, I'm giving you 2
Right.
series and you're gone at most, right? And we'll get these other guys in and call a extremely heavy run based game just
Yeah,
to get them some snaps.
I was thinking it would be kind of like a dress rehearsal, in the
Mhm.
preseason game.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be treated just like a preseason game for the starters. Like you leave them out there, call some very simple, basic vanilla stuff.
That's exactly
know,
the word he used too.
Yep, keep it nice and easy, and then start yanking them. All right, done. Get out. You out.
Debo said
Keep that
on
clock moving.
Mm-hmm.
what's that, Maddie?
Keep that clock moving, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
everything.
You know what?
balance.
I don't expect to see a lot of Elijah Mitchell this week. I expect to see a lot of Jordan Mason this week.
It'll be JP Mason and
Ty Davis Price.
that not TDP. We let him go.
Yeah,
Other
he
one.
was gone. Yeah.
Is he gone again?
The guy. Yeah, we cut TDP a few
Yeah.
weeks ago. He's
Couple
been
weeks.
waived.
No, he's back.
good.
I just saw him in the lobby.
Did we?
You
we-
sure it
Right.
was
I
him?
didn't see that on
I'm
the.
positive. He's back.
didn't-
He was brought back on the practice squad.
Okay.
Oh, that
Well,
must
if
have been
it's
a.
not him, then the other guy that they promoted from the practice squad who was on the team before. I can't.
It
forget his
wasn't
name.
McNichols is gone. He's gone.
He was there Sunday.
No, he wasn't.
You
He's
sure?
gone. I'm positive.
It's too many moves. I can't keep track.
Look him up.
It's like a revolving door.
Yeah, no,
It's late in the
McNichols-
season.
Because remember, I don't think I said this out loud, but I remember he was they called him offsides because like he flinched during the kickoff or whatever. And then
Mhm.
right after that game, he was gone.
Jeez. All righty then.
Yeah, I
But
didn't-
Debo said on Kay Adams' show that he wants to play to keep the groove going. How
Yeah, that's
He
important
missed
is
some
that?
games. I'm cool
What's
with that. He missed some games. I'm cool with that. He's going to keep his groove. And like 3 weeks is a long time to not play.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So 3 weeks is a long time in this league. So you can get flat footed. Go back and look at some of the 1 seeds that come off of the big bye that get upset. Like it happens. 2019 Ravens kind of
Hey Tony.
stick in my mind as a team that, oops, like they didn't work out for them, right? They just, it took them a while to kind of get it going. So I don't think this team is going to have that problem, but I would prefer they didn't. So they could do everything they can, but they're going to have that 2 weeks off and just the freshness, man. Like Ty mentioned it earlier, and that's the one thing that's keeping me optimistic. They looked like a completely different team after the bye week. Like they looked fired up and ready to go. So I'm hoping that this is the same thing with the playoffs because that level of intensity amps up. Laser focus, whole 9 yards. Laser focus, like they say in all those, literally every NFL film thing is a thing now. Just I'm hoping for that because it's a shorter time frame. You just got to go out there for 2 weeks, and then you get another week off before you have one more game, right? Like you don't have to go 8 weeks and 8 weeks without that bye. Like it's a huge.
I think 2 weeks off is too much.
Yeah, for some of them it is, but for some of them I don't think it is. You know what I mean? This is where we got to trust your guy Kyle, right? Your boy, to
We're best friends.
push the right buttons to
BFFs.
know who needs the 2 weeks off, and we'll just come back fresh as a daisy in 3 weeks, and who he needs to play to make sure that they're not flat-footed 3 weeks, right? That's what you need. So I trust he's going to do that. So he knows his guys better than we do.
That's true. So, X factors on offense.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah. I would agree.
Big Red.
What is he
Big
going to throw an
Red.
interception and fumble or not? Right? If he
Big
doesn't
Red.
turn the ball over, Sam
So-
Darnold can do all the things.
So, and speaking of rest, this is why I would have everyone start, with the exception of maybe Trent. You know, have Debo out there, have George out there, have Brandon out there, and just have them. Hey, you're going to play a series or two. You know, at minimum.
Mhm.
Maybe they get a whole half, but I want them to like get some live bullets with Sam, and Sam getting some live bullets with them.
Mhm, mhm.
He hasn't gotten anything with them all year except for the end of the Ravens game,
Yeah.
and they moved the ball actually very well.
Mhm.
So
And
like,
that little bit of time against Arizona too.
Yes.
yeah, but you know, at the start of a game, get some flow going, get some bullets going, you know, just in case of emergency, fingers crossed, knock on wood, shake the dirt, all that good stuff, you know. So you have a little bit of familiarity with each other, you know, in a live situation. That's it. But other than that, he's the key. So I would have him as the key, and then what's his face? Jesus,
Yeah, Mary.
number 10. What's number
Ronnie
10?
Bell.
Ronnie Bell.
Ronnie Bell.
Ronnie Bell's my other X factor on offense. You just say just offense, right? Offense, because we know he's that like fourth man up in the wide receiver department. And when he has played earlier in the year, he did play well, but we haven't seen him a lot. So it'd be good to get him some reps, just to get him out there in a live game action, because you never know when he may be called upon.
I think my X factor on offense is going to be Juice.
Juice. Oh man, when he didn't come down with that touchdown.
Oh,
That's
I
when the
know.
place
He
was
had
about
it
to
too.
erupt. That's
Yes.
when the place was about to erupt on Sunday. Oh, and he did have it.
He was right there.
Mhm. His hands. He just couldn't bring it in when he went to the ground.
But yeah, I think mine's going to be Juice. Go ahead, Manny.
Mhm.
Mine, obviously Sam Darnold, as I mentioned, but Ray McLeod's supposed to play this week, from all
Mm.
intents and purposes, I guess, from what I hear.
And Juwan
And,
Jennings was limited today, so that's a good sign.
And that is another guy that really was super
We missed him.
missed.
Mhm.
We
Right?
missed him.
Like straight
Quiet
up.
as is kept. We missed him.
And you missed him. You know where you missed him? Really, in the Washington game? Third down. Third downs. Like
Yep.
All
when
three.
he's not on the field for third downs, it is noticeable for this team because they bog down. So, you know, I want to see those guys kind of get back into it before we get going.
Yeah, Becca.
Yeah, I think Juwan Jennings it was going to be, well, besides Sam Darnold, and since everybody took him already. Well, I think Juwan Jennings is a good one because he has been an impactful player for us,
Mhm.
and to get him back before the playoffs and get him some action, I think it's going to be really, really good for him, 100% to get out there and start getting some reps. But I do think it's important that they all get some play time with Sam, this week, just to have a different look and feel to the game too, and to, be ready and just in case. But we're not going to speak that into existence.
Nope, can't do it.
No, we're not.
Nope.
X factors on defense. Maddie, go.
I don't know who's going to play. Right? Like I don't know who on the defense is going to play. So this is a real tough one for me. If Nick Bosa plays, I would like to see him get a sack this week. Right? I'd like to see him remind folks that he is Nick Bosa and he will be a force to be reckoned with. I'm so sick of hearing about Myles Garrett and TJ Watt and all these other guys. I know
don't
Nick
get triple
Bosa is better
teamed.
than them.
Yeah.
Right. I understand that. But Reggie White used to get triple teamed too. He still managed to find a way. Right? And
Not all the time.
not all the time, but at least once usually. So I'd like to see that this week. I just need to see that shrug. And you see that shoulder shrug, and I need to see it after a sack, not after like a quarterback scramble. Like that's what I need to see this week. So I'd like to see that defensive line look a little tougher this week. I just like to see that defensive attitude come back a little bit this week. But the stupid penalties can stay away. They did a really good job this week. There wasn't a bunch of dumb penalties this week. That was a real big highlight, I thought, of this week, because this is one of those. This team once in a while likes to play down to its opponent. I don't know why. It's like a cat that plays with its food, I guess. I'm not really understanding what the whole deal is. I don't understand it. That's why I still think they lost the Cleveland game earlier this year. Like, they literally just played with their food for too long, and then Mooney missed the kick at the end, and that was it. So
quarterback stunk it up too.
Yeah.
100. Just nothing went right that day, and CMC got hurt. It was just, and they still should have won the game.
Got hurt.
Right. Yeah, they still should have won the game. So, kind of, that's kind of where I'm at. To me, like, it's both in this pass rush. Like, whoever is on that defensive line, whoever is rushing the passer, I want to see them get to the passer this week, and remind folks what this defense can do for the playoffs.
On another note, John says Purdy should be MVP, had 4 touchdowns versus Dallas and Philly. Conference games that mattered the most. Lamar had 9 games with 1 touchdown or less carried by their defense.
Are you counting his rushing touchdowns in there? Because Lamar's kind of a different guy than Brock Purdy. It's tough to compare those two to me. It really is. I cannot besmirch Lamar Jackson at all. And I am the biggest 49ers fan, like, I know, outside of you three. So, like, to me, like, anytime I can plant the block Purdy flag or the Christian McCaffrey flag for MVP, I'm totally down with that. But what's going to happen here, Jonathan, because you make good points, is recency bias. And they're going to go back to that Christmas game. If you look at the whole picture, Purdy should be the guy, right? But if you look at the recency game, in the head-to-head game, Lamar looked like an MVP candidate, and Purdy threw 4 interceptions. Whether they were his fault or not is an entirely different show for an entirely different time. But that's what it's going to be. It sucked, but that's the way it goes. So I would believe you, but I could also say that, CMC did things this year that, like, Roger Craig and Marshall Faulk, wish they could. So
testify.
Alberto says, but Lamar is not the reason why that team is winning. The reason why that team is winning is because of that defense.
He's a reason. He's a part of it. He's not the sole reason. He's a part of it.
He will be made the face of it, so he will get it. That's just how it goes. And that Ravens defense is not as great as it's made out to be. It's not like they stopped the 49ers. Like, the 49ers stopped themselves, right? Mm-hmm. They got 4 turnovers. To me, turnovers are like playing blackjack. Like, sometimes you're going to hit and sometimes you're going to bust, right? And that night, they just busted on everything. So, and yes, if Purdy was drafted in the first round, maybe even the second round, he would probably get a lot more respect. But people need to prove why their draft guides were so important last 2 years, even though nobody knew anything about college football because of COVID.
Good call.
So,
I saw him too on the elevator, and I asked him if he was playing, and he did play on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Who else has to do X factors on defense? Ty, did you go?
No.
Go ahead.
I got Darrell Luter and Samuel Womack.
Ooh, watch out now.
I'm looking for them to get a lot of burn, and I'm looking for them to make some noise. Those 2 guys that I've been waiting to see extensively, so that's who I'm picking.
Yes.
Young
defensive backs.
Eric Armstead is not playing.
He's not going to be playing. They
already said they're shutting him down until the playoffs.
Okay.
Yep.
They're basically doing him like they did last year. Like, we'll get him back for the playoffs. That's going to be it. They feel pretty confident about it. So, Aaron Banks practiced today too, I believe, in a limited fashion with that toe, which I thought was good news. Good to have Aaron Banks.
No, Aaron Banks was full.
Oh, he was he was full. So that's even better.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yes. Aaron Banks was full. Becca, did you go?
I didn't. I was going to say if Eric Armstead is playing, then he would be it for me. I think having him back and getting him in some play shape would be good news. But if he's out, then I'm not sure who's going to be in there playing in rotation for him. But I think Matt already alluded to the whole line needs to really step it up and really play a little bit better than they have been and getting some pressure up there. But that's, I don't know, maybe we'll just say Drake Greenlaw's going to have a good game if he's in there playing. It's one of those who's going to actually get in and play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go Javon Kinlaw.
I was also going to.
JK.
It was my other.
Mukhtar.
that's another guy that needs
Yeah.
a confidence boost before
Yeah.
the playoffs too, man. Like, I'm gonna have nightmares about Lamar Jackson running Kinlaw's like whatever the hell he was doing in my sleep. That made like the Mike McGlinchey air block last year look like it should be a kick.
Oh boy.
Like honestly,
Wow.
Matt, you being a bit
that was
rough.
a rough one.
That's
You're
a
talking
low
about
blow, Matt.
Lamar Jackson versus a
It was-
defensive tackle. Who's going to win that? one?
I'm not expecting him to make the play. I'm expecting him to make some sort of effort on the play. And he was like, I'm going to the Colorado School of Mines. I guess it's a Colorado School of Mines, but I always thought it was a Colorado School of Mines. So I'm going to call it that. But it was like he just froze there. Like that's what it was. Like I'm like, what is happening? Like you're just going to watch him run by. Okay, just I'm in a box. That's what it looked like. I don't what he was doing.
All
Ah,
right, you guys think
Burned
we
into
get
my
this?
head.
You guys think we get this dub on Sunday?
I think we will.
I kind of hope
I got
not.
faith in Big Red to get it done. Get her done.
Why not, Manny?
Yeah.
Because if we play the Rams again, I want the Rams to think that they've got our number. I really do. Like, and I want them to talk trash
After
because the
one
Rams
game.
are the type of team that would 100% talk a load of just total horse shit after this game. Well, they didn't take it seriously, and Carson Wentz, I don't know who questioned him, and blah 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 blah. Like those.
Wow, you
that's
are
the
in
stuff.
rare form today, my friend.
I'm fired up. I'm so fired up about this team. Like, and just the fact that they got that number one seed, guys. Like, this to me was like, this was their best shot. They're going to get their best shot at it. That's all I wanted. Like, you got to get that bye week. That bye week to me would have been the biggest difference in the last two playoff runs. They didn't get it. So for them to get it this time, this is it. Like the
The
gauntlet
bye
is
week
set
had nothing
exactly
to do with the
way you
last
want
two
it.
playoff runs. Come on now. You know that's the truth.
I just think it would have been a lot better odds if they'd only had to play 2 games instead of 3 to make it to the Super Bowl.
So last year we get the number one seed. We play Philly in the NFC Championship at home instead of at Philly. Brock hurts his arm.
Do we
What's the
know
difference?
that though? We don't know.
What's the difference?
Does he?
What's the difference?
I
What's
don't
the
know.
difference?
I mean, if he does, great. You know what I mean? But maybe
you didn't
maybe
know
his
Brock
arm
was going to
doesn't
hurt his
wear out
arm
in that
this
game
year.
because he
But
has
once
that
again,
1 week
the
off of
point
rest.
being, having or not having the number one seed had nothing to do with it.
I
An
feel like it would have
injury
helped
can
if they'd
happen
had
at
last
any
year.
point.
Sure.
That's true.
I agree with you.
Seeding has nothing to do with that.
Jacoby Brissett showed us this week that an injury can happen during practice week, right?
Getting off the toilet.
Sure, it can
Right?
100% happen. So, but to me, like this is for the way this
Sugar,
team
honey,
plays
iced tea.
football. Yeah, just the way this team plays football, like they need that extra night of rest. They're not old wrestlers. They can't go from town to town and run the same match night after night after night. They need a night off, right? So for them to be able to get this break at this time sets them up for the best possible chance of success. That's all I'm saying. And I think they would have
Ladies and
better chances
gentlemen,
the last
Maddie
couple
has
years.
been saying this all
Yeah,
season
it's nothing new.
long.
Yeah.
And they did it.
Challenge
They,
flag on it.
they achieved the brass ring I set up there for
They
them.
got
They are the Sonic the Hedgehog of the National Football League, right? Now I want to see them beat the teams in the AFC. That's a big deal. When did the AFC become better than the NFC? Like, I grew up in a world where the NFC dominated the AFC, and that's just how it was for 20-something years, right? And then Brett Favre had to go screw it up for everybody. You know what I mean? So, you know, like, it would be nice. It would have been nice for them to beat Baltimore, right? But so far, you look at 3 of their losses this year. You got Cleveland, you got
2
Cincy,
points.
and you got Baltimore.
That fourth quarter.
It's still losses to the AFC, and that's what you face in the Super Bowl. So I'm glad they've got those out of the way.
We don't know we facing them in the Super Bowl. Why is this foregone conclusion that we're going to play Baltimore in the Super Bowl?
It's not
and we're playing the Rams.
We're going to play any
in
of
the
them.
divisional.
Could be any of those, but
Well,
like it
he's
could be
just-
Why is
Cleveland.
no one
Well,
saying
Why
we're going to
could
play
be
the
the winner?
Saints in the divisional?
His
Or
point
the
is that
Lions.
we're losing to AFC
Could be Tampa.
teams.
I get that.
We
Yeah.
lost it there to
But
the
it's kind of like this foregone conclusion. We're going to see them again. No, that's not guaranteed.
Oh, nothing's
not.
guaranteed. Absolutely nothing's guaranteed. But
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Sure. I just like to see that bridge before it gets too foggy. You know what I mean? And that fog rolls into the Bay Area pretty quickly, from what I hear.
This
They've
ain't
named
the
it
stick
Carl,
anymore.
But
I guess.
you can't put the cart before the horse, though. Like,
Exactly.
I'm not putting anything before anything. I'm just pointing things out that I see. And right now, like, for them to have
tell
that
you
1 seed and get some stuff fixed, that's good.
We'll beat that AFC team in Vegas.
And
Boom.
you know what? They'll
'Cause I'm
they'll
gonna be
actually
there,
have 2 weeks
and it's
to do
going
it
down.
this time, as opposed to like, yeah, exactly. As opposed to like a short week versus Cincy or any of the other garbage that's happened for them to be set up with this time. So
About to break my microphone.
Okay.
I know, right?
I had enough
Like
of
a
it.
broken
No, I'm
smash.
throwing the mic. I'm throwing the mic. Throwing the mic.
This thing on.
Yeah, we could hear you.
Yeah.
Melissa said, Maddie and Marcus, we need to send Ty's Christmas tree to him for light and cheeriness.
He's Palpatine. I'm trying to
I got a
tell you,
Christmas
people.
tree right next to me. The 12th day
Have
of
you
Christmas
not
is
focused
not until
on
the
the
6th
Star
of
Wars
January.
references?
So, yeah, we're good.
Sin will be in Vegas too. I'm actually,
Wow.
I think I'm doing that as well. Looking up stuff.
I don't know how. Yeah, I think if that happens, it's going to be a day in, day out sort of deal. But you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm not
It's
saying
doable.
I've looked ahead at these things, but I may have looked ahead at these things. So, I want to be prepared, right? Like I want to be prepared for this.
That's right. All right, guys. Any other thoughts before we get out of here?
John Lynch,
It's been a fun
executive of the year.
17 weeks.
Let's go. Also, shout out to these Pro Bowl voters.
17 weeks.
Way to go. You got it right in most cases, even though the 49ers aren't going to play
Yeah.
in that Pro Bowl.
Exactly.
I don't mind
Faithful.
going before that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's-
you did an awesome job with the Pro Bowl votes.
that is well done, friend.
not
Good
going
job.
to matter, as Matt said, but a way to represent. That's what we
Some
need.
guys are going to get bonuses in their checks because of you voting correctly. So great work.
Brock
right?
needs that bonus.
He does need
Of
that
all the
bonus,
guys, right?
Mm-hmm. No, him and
look at how
roommate.
look at how yeah. They'll just I will end up getting called up because somebody will get injured and then he won't play in the game anyways because
Yeah,
they'll
'cause
be
he'll be in
getting ready
Vegas.
for a bigger game.
That's all right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to that hurry up offense on the 2-minute warning.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, and
Yeah, Becca.
Ooh, wow. Happy New Year, everyone. Congrats to all of our Pro Bowlers. Goodness, let's get this last game in and won and get our boys set up for success in the playoffs. Go Niners.
Yeah, Maddie.
Huge week. Keep everybody healthy. Keep everybody healthy. No, I don't think we need to start a GoFundMe for Purdy. I think Purdy is going to start. I think Purdy is probably going to start getting some pretty decent sponsorship money fairly shortly. So
Yep.
and soon he'll be
I
making
can't
a lot
imagine
more
that
than
tractor
all of
company.
us.
How is that tractor company not reached out to him yet?
Yeah,
Right?
I'm
Hello.
sure.
I don't understand.
They
That
probably
tractor
have
company
something in
should be like,
works.
like I don't get it. Like
John Deere
Please
should be
get
knocking
off
on
their
his
ass.
door.
Yeah, somebody
please
will.
get off their ass and do something about that.
Yeah, they're right down the
Um,
road in Santa Clara. So
Yeah, for God's sakes, people, come on. that's it. Stay healthy this week, and I don't care if you beat the Rams or not, but like, just stay healthy this week.
Good, Ty.
Yeah, fun 17 weeks. Shout out to the faithful once again, man. In Washington, you guys showed up. It was awesome to see. Pro Bowl voting is done. There's still time to get extra votes in for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. So head to your socials, vote for Eric Armstead. He's more than deserving of the award. So make it happen.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys. It's been a fun season with you and, talking 49ers football. It's not over yet, but just wanted to address that. Shout out to the faithful, showing up each and every week, whether we're home or away. And shout out to the chat. You guys were awesome tonight. And if you haven't already done so, like and subscribe and, go tell a friend about us. And
Tell a friend.
Yes, and we'll see you next week. And as always, go Niners.
Good night, everybody.
Hey.
And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the